Hi, welcome back to our channel, Two Brothers Opinions. My name is Barry, this is my brother Mark.
Right, so today, on this episode, it sounds like a TV episode of today. Anyways, I thought about something that probably a lot of people who don't pay attention to politics or things like that, they wouldn't have no clue. But people who pay attention will know the name Cloward and Piven.
Yes, and it is actually Richard Cloward and Frances
Fox Piven.
And she's still alive.
Is she?
I believe so. I believe so.
Could have a name for her, but I won't.
We can think of a few we can't say.
There's things that we're going to talk about that people are going to go, oh my God, like that's what the Democratic Party is doing, and it'll all make sense. So I first heard about it with Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck talked about Cloward and Piven a while.
Yeah, on one of his shows a long time ago.
Yeah, a while ago, right?
A lot younger.
Right, and every once in a while he'll come up with whatever the Democrats are doing, and he's like, "Yeah, this is Cloward and Piven again."
Yep.
So
let's tell the people who they are.
Yeah. All right. They were political activists.
Were they professors at Columbia University? I believe they were.
They might have been, but I know that they were. They were basic, and they were basically coming up with a political strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So the strategy was to utilize militant anti-poverty groups to facilitate a political crisis by overloading the welfare system via an increase in welfare claims, forcing the creation of a system of guaranteed minimum income.
There we go.
And redistributing income through the federal government. That is exactly what that answers. Why are they letting all the illegals in when Biden was president? Overwhelm the system.
Correct.
Right? Overwhelm everything. And then what would happen? Well, the government would have to, we have to take care of them. So then they
take care of them. Yeah.
So then they raise your taxes. So it's amazing. It's like it focused on compelling the Democratic Party to redistribute income to the poor, to help the poor.
And this goes back to how long ago?
What year? This goes back like 1966.
Okay.
So we're talking
right after
the LBJ's what do you call it? The new something, I forgot what we call it now. But it was like his big plan. Anyways, so they were gonna redistribute income to the poor. They wanted full enrollment for those eligible for welfare. It would produce a bureaucratic disruption in all the welfare agencies and fiscal disruption in local and state governments. And here's the interesting part. It would deepen existing divisions among elements in the big city Democratic coalition. So the remaining white middle class, the working class ethnic groups, and the growing minority poor. So if you go back to that area, and people have talked about how the African American population prior to all this, you had most of the houses had a mom and a dad, and they were doing good. They had their own businesses and everything else. And then they came up, they come up with this program, and what happened to the black community?
Right. And it's something that you key issue, what you were talking about before this, is you said the mom and dad in the house.
Right.
So if you go pretty far away, even farther back, there was blacks that had their own banks, they had their own businesses, and they were very successful. Oh yeah. Go look at some of the old pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, mom and dad, kids in suit, dressed very well. This is in the 20s and 30s.
They were a group that was doing really well. And you always saw them like, and their families going to church on Sunday and dressed up. And they were, and it was like, it's sad to see what the Democrat Party has done. So anyways.
Yeah, we'll expand on that a little more.
Yeah.
I'll let you do it. Because you know a lot about more than that.
So there's a 2006 book called Winning the Race. It's some political commentator, this John McWhorter. He attributed the rise in the welfare state after the 1960s to the Cloward-Piven strategy.
Which is basically a Marxist, communist,
socialist
strategy from Saul Alinsky.
Yep.
If you read, he has a book, what's something radicals?
Rules for rap.
Rules for radicals,
Yep.
and that's basically
Yep.
their game plan.
Yeah.
In
So this John McWhorter was writing about it, but he was writing about it in a bad way. Like he stated that it created generations of black people for whom working for a living is an abstraction. So it's an abstract thought to get out and work for a living.
And work for a living.
Yeah, because then you create the dads that are no longer in the house, and who becomes the dad? The federal government.
Federal government.
Yeah. So and I just want to go through. They had 4 steps, and one was to overload the system, create mass panic and hysteria as the system is overloaded, oversee the destruction of the system, and then replace the system with a new system. Right? So how would they do that? Here's the new system: increase welfare recipients. An eruption of chaos as welfare system begins to fail because now it's overloaded. Shift the responsibility from local government to the federal government. And then the federal government provide a guaranteed income. How many times have you heard Bernie Sanders and those kind of people talk about guaranteed income?
Guaranteed income.
Right. And basically the goal was to install socialism.
In this country.
This country, right.
It's a way to ruin the United States.
Yeah.
Period.
So you look at...
Through social programs.
Yeah. And you look at what's going on. And if you really listen to all these Democrat congressmen, senators, even local, this is exactly what they're doing. And that's why they don't like the fact that Trump is getting rid of all the 20 million illegals that are here, getting them all out. No, because they want them here. There was even books written, and Democrats that talked about it, called "We Will Replace Them." It's replacement theory.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you bring up replacement theory, they'll say, "Oh, that's just a
that's
conspiracy."
a myth.
Yeah, it's a myth.
It's a myth.
Except they wrote books about it.
Yep. It's
They
absolutely not.
they want to replace. We will replace them. Now, who's the them? I think it's not only just white, but I think it's middle class.
Middle class. Yeah. Whether higher, middle, or lower income middle class.
Yeah.
Just get
the
rid of
middle class, right?
You would have the bottom.
Yep.
Who count on the government.
Right.
And then you would have the rich who control everything.
Who control everything. Yeah. And that's socialism, communism. That's exactly what.
No.
So
like in Soviet Russia at the time. So the people in the bottom ate nothing.
Yep.
Gave everything to the government. They ate steak and lobster at night.
Yeah.
And that's not what socialism or communism is supposed to be about.
No, it's not.
We're all supposed to be equal.
In its pure form, as some people will say, in its pure form, it's like everybody gets taken care of.
Yep.
But the way that they bastardize it is it's going to be, oh no, we're going to drive everybody out of the middle class, make them poor, and then the rich are going to have everything.
And it's going on right now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, again, look at Bernie Sanders. Talks about this stuff. But who's got a lot of money? Bernie Sanders. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't talk about millionaires anymore.
No,
he talks about billionaires.
Right.
Because a lot of Democrats are millionaires.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it used to be, we need millionaires.
Billionaires and millionaires.
Yeah, and then it became just billionaires because they're all millionaires. I mean, the fact that somebody even came up with a website that you could pick the same stocks that congressmen make, that they pick in order to, because they're making money way better than the stock market, like average people.
And they just happen to know when something's going to crash.
Yeah.
And they get
out Nancy Pelosi down.
Yeah, there we go, right there.
Yeah.
There's the answer.
So, I mean, it's just, this whole strategy is amazing. But, they wanted the social conflict drives class divisions. Mm-hmm. What do the Democrats do? Well, we have the middle class white, we have the rich white people, then we have the black, and then we have the Latinos, and then we have this group and that group and the Muslim group, and
funny how they segregate everybody, but they talk about unity. But they segregate.
Right. And if you look at Cloward and Piven, they played it. It's like going to the Super Bowl as a team with the perfect game plan, and just run the game plan and you win. And that's what they're trying to do with this. They have a game plan.
And they've been doing it since the 60s.
Yeah. And you go back to
and I still
LBJ.
can't understand why blacks vote Democrat. Why are they so adamant about voting Democrat. That is the party of slavery that
Yep.
voted against getting rid of slavery.
Yep.
The party of Jim Crow, the party of the KKK.
They started it.
Exactly. And then you have someone like Biden and Hillary Clinton who took pride in saying, what was the guy, Richard Byrd?
Oh, yeah. He was
The Grand Poobah.
Grand Poobah. Yeah, he was the Grand Wizard. or
Grand
whatever.
Cyclops.
Yeah, whatever.
Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
You know, and
They made a big thing about him when he died.
exactly. And what was the famous line that everybody should know that LBJ said? He said, "You leave it up to me. I'll have those N-word voting Democrat
The
for
rest
the
of
next 200 years."
Yep.
This is not about race.
Nope. That's about his statement.
His statement, but yet you still vote Democrat. I can't.
mean,
not that the Republicans are the answer,
No.
but they're better than what the Democrats are doing.
That's like the I forgot now. Was it Bongino they used to say that? He used to, I think it was him, they used to say, it's not that the Republicans are the answers to all your problems.
Yes.
But it's that the Democrats are the cause.
Are the
of
cause.
all
He used to
your
say
problems.
that. Yes, absolutely.
And you'll kind of lump. Now we don't want to. I'm not going to lump every Democrat because I think there's the old like Kennedy, JFK Democrat who is still sitting here going, "This isn't right,"
and still vote Democrat.
but yet they still vote right. But then you have.
I think they're starting to wake up.
Well, I think a lot of people are starting to wake up, and definitely in the African American community, the Hispanic community. I mean, the Hispanics a lot of them were pissed off that with this illegal immigration. They're like, hey, we came here, we're working really hard. You guys are going to come in and undercut us?
Correct.
And it was like, yep. And luckily, more people voted for Trump this time, and hopefully, in the next election they'll stay more Republican because I think you look at typically you look at all right, one president's out, who's probably going to get the election, usually the vice president. But
J.D. Vance.
A combination of J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio doesn't look so bad right now.
No, not really.
Versus the Democrats who have nobody.
No one.
And the people who are talking about running, the moron governor of California, he just came up with I was just reading it this morning. It's in such dire straits in terms of Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
That they want to have people fill out an affidavit, like a financial one, to see if you now qualify for Medicaid, and you can't have more than $2,000 in assets, or else you won't qualify.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right, but who will qualify then?
No one.
The illegals who came over with like $5 in their pocket,
Exactly.
and have nothing, have no assets,
Exactly.
they're all going to get it. So who's going to pay for it?
We are.
Well,
the state,
the middle class
in California,
or the rich who are going to get soaked with taxes. And what are they doing? They're all moving.
I know. I lived in Arizona.
Yeah, well, yeah,
They moved up. They moved to Arizona and drove up all the housing prices.
Yep. Yeah, then they went to Texas too. Although Texas had a big sign. I think it was Texas had a sign like,
turn around, go home.
Well, it's like if you're gonna vote Democrat and bring your liberal stuff here, don't come here.
They were selling T-shirts when I lived in Arizona. It says, "Do not California my Arizona."
Oh yeah.
But they did it. They turned a red state to purple.
Yep.
And housing there is outrageous.
Yeah. I just think that there's a lot of, I'll just say it, dumb voters.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just go by what they hear. What their buddies told them.
Yep.
Look at the headlines. We've talked about that before. What the headlines say, and then if you read down, you actually get the truth. One of the things too that we talked about in California is they were giving. Well, first of all, in California, they wanted to get rid of all fossil fuel vehicles.
Right.
They wanted to go all electric, and they were pushing
in a short
that.
period of time too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they were pushing that.
Yeah.
So what they were doing, they were giving the incentive, a tax break, to buy electric vehicles.
Yep.
So now they're finding out that the money that they were receiving from tax on fossil fuels, when you go to the gasoline pump, they're not getting.
Right.
So now know what they're going to do? They're going to implement a special tax on people that bought electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, folks? So you got a tax breaks to buy one. Now they're going to implement a special tax to tax you on because you bought one.
Because you're not getting the tax from the gasoline.
Tax from the gasoline anymore.
And believe me, being in Connecticut, we know about gasoline tax.
Yeah, well, we know that.
God. I mean, I heard the other day, there's parts of the country right now that are under $2 a gallon.
Yeah, I saw one $2.17 somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm like,
we're at like $2.88. I've seen $3.01.
Yeah, I put super. I have to put 93 in my bike, in my Harley, and it's $4.09 or $3.99.
Yeah,
it's still $4 a gallon.
Yeah,
it hasn't moved here.
No,
it'll move down a few cents and go back up a few cents.
Yeah.
That's because of the taxes.
Yeah, because the price of a barrel of oil is
$60.
It's like $60 now. Well, when it was like $60 last time Trump was in, we were paying like $2 a gallon.
Yeah,
we're still. The other day the price of the oil was going down, and I saw the pump go from $2.88 to $2.93. I was like, why did it go up?
Well, there's a certain area of where the fuel. Where oil needs to be per gallon for the companies to make money.
Sure.
Then when it drops below a certain, they don't make money.
I get it. And companies are in a business to make money because they have employees and they have to pay for something. I get it. I mean, there's nothing against making money.
Well, it's called capitalism, which people hate.
Right. Except capitalism is I can go out and take a risk and start a business and make a lot of money, and now I can hire more people and buy more machinery and make more money, so I can hire more people or start a second
Democrats
factory.
hate that.
Yeah, it's amazing. So one last thing I want to say here is because we just talked about voting a little bit. So their thing was why don't people vote? They think, or they said, that it was linked to structural inequalities and political alienation. What structural inequalities stop you from walking into a polling place? Or what political alienations?
I never feel alienated when I go to vote.
Well, but who does? People who listen to the mainstream media who are alienated
CNN,
from the truth.
MSDLC, LSD, whatever they call it.
DNC, MSDNC. But
I like LSD, but
yeah, I know. Well, they should be on it. Maybe they'd be happier people. They're miserable too. That's the other thing. Democrats are miserable people. Mm-hmm. They hate everything.
Everything, except for when things go their way.
Well, yeah, and then they were like, "Oh, it's the same thing." Like if they were doing what Trump is doing right now, if it was a Democrat in there, they'd all be like, "Whoa, great job! Whoa,
great job! We're going to sign on to that."
Yeah, well, we won't sign it. We'll have the auto pen sign it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
I hear when Nancy Pelosi was controlling that? Well, no, not Nancy Pelosi. Who's the Indian? The Indian from Massachusetts. I heard she was involved in that.
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas, yeah. I forget what her name is now. I just know her name.
Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren, yeah. That went to college, said she was Native American because she has high cheekbones. You know, if you really look...
We all got cheekbones.
I think mine are pretty high, too.
Yeah. From the
Lost Italian tribe.
Go ahead.
The Fakawis.
Yeah, we're the Fakawi Indians. And if anybody knows the joke, they were lost. They came upon some other people, and they said, "Who are you?" And they're like, and they didn't know because they didn't speak English, but they're like, "We're the Fakawi."
Yep. And that's how we became part of that tribe. Maybe we could open a casino in Connecticut too.
Yeah.
Because the one that's in Mashantucket Pequot, that actually came out of, if there's a book about it, the money came out of, was it Indonesia? Malaysia? Malaysia. I think it came out of Malaysia. Oh, that's a whole, you got to research that.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's like five people.
It wasn't like too old, the last of the Mohegans or whatever they were.
No, not at all. That's another scam right there.
Yeah, we can call us that.
We could go into a lot of things, but anyhow, we're going to talk about. But anyhow, the Cloward and Piven, they actually, from what I just did a little quick research. Yeah. You knew a lot more about it than I.
Yeah, I've been paying. Yeah, I watched a lot of stuff about it,
and because I'm still actually working.
Well,
I don't have that time on my head.
This is my job.
Yeah, I know. They're for Columbia University, and what president was from Columbia University, graduated there? Come on, you gotta know.
I don't know that one.
You don't know that one?
No.
Barry Soetoro.
Oh.
If anybody knows who Barry Soetoro is, that's Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Where there's one professor
But they can't find any classes or any classmates
Correct.
that remember
There's one
him in
professor that every president that ever went to Columbia University, he knows they have to go through his class. He's, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
And it's funny how he has a Connecticut Social Security number,
but was born supposedly in Hawaii.
In Hawaii, who his grandmother, actually great-grandmother or grandmother, I think his grandmother worked for the Social Security Department. They tracked that Social Security number to a guy in Connecticut, and he had like no family. He died, and that number he actually went to Hawaii for a look. They stole the Social Security number,
yeah,
and gave it to him.
Yeah.
The guy was born in Indonesia. He was not born here.
No.
But that's another video we might be working on in the near future.
Yeah. And then that was
a lot of people don't know Barack Obama's name is actually Barry
Soetoro.
Yeah, his father
was
his father in Indonesia. He was in hit squads.
Yeah.
He was killing people for political.
They were talking about him being connected with CIA too, the dad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. We could go down that rabbit hole, but we'll stay on this.
Yeah.
Cloward and Piven.
Well, yeah, and like I said, the reason I wanted to bring this up was because I think one of the things we try to do is to get people to hear this stuff and say, I didn't know that, and then go look at it yourself.
Yes.
So if you want to look up more, look up Cloward and Piven, read their stuff, and then take that and look at the Democratic Party and go, holy crap, that's what they're doing.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, they're running this playbook, and obviously, if you ask them about it, they'll be like, "Oh, we don't know anything about it," but that's what they're doing.
But they really do.
Absolutely, they want to disrupt and break the system, remake the system, reimagine the system. All of these words that they use.
Yeah, reimagine.
And install socialism, and socialism has never worked anywhere. Never. Everywhere it's been tried, it's failed.
Yeah, the only thing that's happened is a lot of people die.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Usually the poor.
Yep.
And that's the sad part.
Yeah. And some rich get richer.
Yep.
And I mean, there's a lot of stuff about even trying to, for years even our father used to talk about, they're trying to destroy the middle class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You had, even. And I was thinking about this. Even like the feminist movement that we did a whole thing on feminism, right?
We did.
But they started telling women, you're not happy just being home and taking care of housework and raising kids, and you're not happy. You should get out there and work, and because So I just saw a statistic the other day. It's something like, don't hold me on this because it was a few days ago, and when I heard it, I was like, holy crap, and I kind of forgot the number. But it's something like over 50% of women nowadays are depressed. They're not happy people. And even this morning I was thinking about it. So all right, so women have to get up, take care of the house. Not saying guys can't help, I'm just saying, but they have the pressure of history. So history says you have to get up, you have to take care of the house, you have to take care of your kids. You're supposed to do cooking, right? You're supposed to do blah, 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 blah. You're also supposed to have friends and do all this other stuff. And you have to go out and get a job and work full time because, and strive to, go to college and make all this money.
Right.
No wonder they're depressed. But then I was thinking, what did guys used to do? When women didn't work, when they stayed home, guys used to get up, go to work, got to provide for your family, take care of fixing the car, fixing the house, mowing the lawn.
Sometimes they'd be in a baseball, softball team.
Right, yeah, coaching your kids.
Yep.
Right? And guys had fulfillment. Like that was fulfilling what a guy does. Mm-hmm. And yet women are doing it and being told they have to do it. And they're depressed and miserable.
Not all.
No, but a lot. They're talking around 50%.
Yeah.
And the rise of antidepressants.
And then they go,
women,
we're all the good guys.
Yeah, we're all the good guys. Well, the good guys.
Usually those are the ones you reject.
Yeah. Well, on top of it, and then you listen to some 20-year-olds, and they're like, oh, I make six figures and I have a nice car, and so what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm on OnlyFans. Oh, okay, so that's what you're doing.
Yep. Good luck getting a guy.
Yeah, and then
a
it's
decent guy.
Yeah, and then when you ask the two questions, what was your relationship with your father like? They are like, yeah, I don't talk to my dad, so that's important. And the other one,
never there.
Right, and then the other one is, are you looking to find a good guy and get married and have a family? And they're like, well, there's not a lot of good guys out there, or they're like, no, I don't.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, well,
so you go on a date, you do meet a decent guy.
Right.
So what do you do for a living? I'm on OnlyFans. Goodbye, see ya. And the only ones that stay around are the ones that are gonna use them for the money that they have.
Yep. And then scoop.
And then see you later.
Yep. So
and then they'll say, "There's no good guys around." That's right. Because no good guy wants to know that the whole world is paying you to show your body.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Jim, we got off subject.
No, but
it's all related.
It's all related. Right. It goes back to
all related to that. Even though you think we're off subject or off topic, we actually are not.
No, because when you start doing the Cloward and Piven stuff, and then it folds into the feminism, which is all part of the disrupting the system. The system worked really well for every minority, it worked for every class of people. You had a strong family. You had a structure. People do well in structures. I mean, talk to any therapist, when they do structural family therapy.
So
you realign the family into a structure.
Where we grew up, top of Hill Street,
in
Waterbury. You take our neighborhood, mixed.
Yep.
Okay, the black families that were around us, they all had a mom and dad.
Yep.
They all worked.
Yep.
Their kids did very well. I mean, I know one family who I've known forever.
Yeah.
We're still friends today.
Yeah.
You have 3 retired correction officers, a retired arson investigator, fireman, another one that is a retired dispatcher for a police department out of Maryland.
Maryland, right.
Yeah, no one never looked, said, hey, we don't have a chance.
Nope.
Never complained about anything. It was tough times because we remember the riots in Waterbury.
Oh, God, yeah.
But all the families around us, we all played with, we shared, we did things together.
They were in our house.
They were in our house. We were in their houses.
Right.
We didn't look and say, hey, that's a black family, we're staying away from them. We never did that.
Nope.
We weren't taught that. We were taught to take everybody for who they are.
Yeah.
And they were very successful.
Yeah.
Now you go to Waterbury, and let's see, there's
there was just a shooting
in the mall, 5 people wounded. The guy was 19 years old, has a big police record, shouldn't had a gun at his age. Then a couple of days later, you had 11 people arrested at Kennedy. The next day, 5 more people arrested at Kennedy for fighting with cops. And I mean, there's no respect for the law anymore. Yeah. Well, it's funny that people say, well, there is no respect for the law, but also I saw a police supervisor, no lights on, not speeding, no nothing, just casually go through a red light.
Yeah.
Supervisor.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just turn red, it was red. So when you have police not respecting the law and people see that, people go, why should I respect the law if a police officer doesn't?
Yeah.
Plus you don't have people wanting to become cops anymore.
No, why would you want to?
I would never want to become a police officer.
Now.
Do I respect them? I respect the badge and what they supposedly swear an oath to.
Yeah.
That's what I respect. But you got to give respect to get respect.
Yeah. Well, you remember, back in the 80s, I was vice president of the Waterbury Police Athletic League. I mean, I hung around a bunch of cops, Most of them were awesome guys.
Yep, they are.
There was one I wouldn't trust anybody near. But yeah, most of them were awesome guys. And we even, in our family, we have people that are in that career. Mm-hmm. And our father wanted to be. Mm-hmm. But Mom put the kibosh
on that. Well, I understand in a way.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. And the society is breaking down, and Trump is trying to turn it around.
So, the big thing, I know you brought up Medicaid. People are going, he's taking medical aid away from people.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Well, oh yeah, the illegals.
The illegals that don't deserve it.
And they said there's people that are collecting twice under different names, the same person. So they're getting rid of one of those because it's like, well, the person should get one.
Wasn't there a guy out of the country that had multiple social security numbers and was living large?
Yeah.
Getting I don't know how many checks. Yeah. But Doge isn't doing their job.
No.
Come on, people. Wake up and smell the coffee.
Yeah, when you're
Hold
spending...
on, it smells pretty damn good, actually.
It's decaf. All right. Do we want to do...
I never have a second cup at my house. If anybody knows that commercial.
or has seen the movie Airplane.
Yeah.
He never has. Yeah. Do we want to do our...
Dumb Democrat.
Dumb Democrat of the week.
I'm very ill-prepared. Ill-prepared. Yeah, ill-prepared for this one. But I'm gonna go with Ilhan Omar.
Oh, that's a good one.
The one from
the brother
Minnesota,
marrying.
brother marrying. I saw the reason why I'm saying that is because I saw a guy that was very, very polite to her, and he was asking. He was in almost like I couldn't really hear him very well because it was kind of like static or whatever background noise in the mic. He was outside. Yeah. I believe it was a college newspaper. Mm. And he was trying to interview her real quick while she was walking. I forget the question he asked, but she told him to F off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, really?
Well, the language. This is the other thing. The language that the left is doing. It is funny because you would never see these people swear. Democrats, Republicans, congressmen, senators.
No.
They didn't swear.
Nope. Ever.
But when Trump ran in 2016, he would say, he would give a speech and he's like, what the hell? Like, you would hear him say stuff like, did you ever notice since then and now that he's,
Yep.
They're out there doing speeches they're swearing. They're all swearing. They are just copycats. Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Because it proves that he's just a person.
And they're phony.
Phony.
But yeah, Jasmine Crockett, she was my dumb Democrat of the week last night.
Yeah.
And I tell you, she
proves it.
She might be like number one forever. Oh my God.
We should have a number one.
Well, eventually, we'll have a gold, silver, and bronze.
Yeah, gold, silver, bronze.
We have to come up with.
We can't say gold, silver, bronze. We have to say some other metals. Maybe copper, because that's really not. Well, copper's
tin.
Not worth tin. Yeah, tin foil.
Tin foil. Yeah. So my dumb Democrat of the week is the Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson.
I heard about him.
He called Doge an act of war. and
is that the same mayor that said he only hires black people?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He compared the rise of Trump to the rise of Hitler and said Trump's second term is like the Third Reich. This man, and if anyone in Chicago ever hears this podcast,
how do we get rid of Lightfoot?
Don't
Lori
vote for
Lightfoot.
this guy. Well, she was bad too.
Right, she was. But did you ever see pictures of her before she ran? She was beautiful.
She wasn't after.
No, I swear they sell their souls for power. I swear they do.
She hit every branch on the ugly tree coming down. Holy crap.
And then got on another tree.
Yeah, there's a second tree. Yeah. She went back up. It's like, oh my God.
Maybe it was a redwood, 200 foot.
Yeah, she was the one who was, during COVID, went out getting her hair done and he was like, hey, what? We're supposed to be in. What are you doing? She goes, well, I'm the mayor. I have to look good. Oh, okay.
Lori Lightfoot didn't look good.
So Brandon Johnson, if you're in Chicago, don't vote for this guy.
I don't understand why people do.
Well, it's Chicago. A lot of minorities. He's black. That's all they look at. But if they should look, maybe they should look at their.
It's like the idiot here. What's her name from Connecticut?
There's a lot of them. Oh, the Laurel with the purple hair.
No, the one from that has Waterbury area.
Oh,
I forget her name. There's still signs.
Not Ayanna Presley. She's Massachusetts. No, she's another one.
I forgot her name.
With her shaved head.
Johanna, whatever.
Johanna, yeah, I know what you mean.
She's an idiot. She only comes around when there's votes and people vote for her.
I know.
She doesn't do nothing.
No, not at all.
Except for line her pockets.
They all do. Anyways. All right.
Yeah, so we just want to say we appreciate the comments. We've been getting some pretty good comments from people.
And we're up to 31 subscribers.
31. we're just banging them out.
But people are asking if we would do a live, like a live, go live one
on
time.
Prism or
live
something.
Stream. Yeah, but they were also saying that if you want to do live on YouTube, you got to get to 50 subscribers.
Oh,
so
really?
we need 19 more.
We need 19 more.
We get to 50.
Tell your friends and family, folks.
Yeah, just subscribe. They don't even have to watch us.
We would like to do that
because there's live stream. And then when you're on live stream, they can actually like send you
a text message,
and we can answer.
And we can answer.
Have a back and forth.
We could have a back and forth.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
And the same thing with the Prism guy. He's the one who said YouTube, you have to have at least 50 subscribers to do a live stream. But there was another app that you could do it, but I'm not that technically oriented.
And I've been reading the comments, and what I like to say is I really appreciate the respect. That people they're giving really good, respectful comments. I think they understand that these are our opinions and that we are, like you said earlier, trying to make people just
think. Right.
You know, we're not trying to belittle anybody.
No, I mean,
I do hate the Democrat stuff.
If we
know that.
But but here's the thing: if they turned around and they said, you know what, Trump's doing this thing, and man, that's actually really good. We're voting for it. They'll actually, and they honestly were doing it, not just for you know.
Yes.
But if they honestly were doing some of this stuff, and if they came up with their own bill that said, hey, we want to cut this crap because we're wasting taxpayer money, and if they put a bill in Congress saying, let's cut this, I'd be like, that's a good thing. And they probably would get some power.
It's not the party, it's the people.
But anyways.
I voted Democrat years ago, but I haven't.
Well, there were times I would split my ticket.
Yeah, I won't do that anymore.
But no. I don't care if they could
be the second coming.
Yeah, they'd be the second coming, and I vote Republican.
I hear you. Until they prove otherwise, and switch up.
And then they probably won't before I die. So So screw them.
And I just wanted to say that about the comments. We appreciate it very, very much.
Oh no, they're good, and we're having a lot of good back and forth with it.
Yes, we are.
So it's really cool.
So on that note,
for us and for people that are commenting, you know, you have a voice, and don't let anyone silence it.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget to hit the like button,
subscribe,
leave a comment,
or subscribe more.
Subscribe at least 19 more people, please.
Just
your friends and family.
Stop people on the street, tell them to subscribe.
I can only do so much. Thank you. Well, we appreciate you very much.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you.
This is turning out cool.
Yep.
Because we started this thing like, let's see, you know.
Yeah.
And then with some of the comments, people are like, I like what you guys are doing. I can't wait for your next video. So now we're like, I said, well, we're becoming famous, and you're like maybe infamous.
Infamous, yeah. I am on my lot. That's for sure. There's a few people that subscribe know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But anyways, all right. So.
Hit the notification bell. Forgot that one.
Yeah, do that. Do that too.
All right, thank you guys. We really appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.